Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to why you never mess with elite special forces. I don't know anybody who in their right mind would mess with soldiers that are literally the best of the best. The best. Like, to become a special forces soldier, at least in the UK and I think the US as well with Navy SEAL training, these guys go through months of hellish training and conditions. These people you just don't want to mess with at all. So who would willingly put themselves against these men and women? Who would do it? Like, I need to know.
These are the most dangerous elite special forces in the world. You definitely don't want to mess with them. So don't give them a reason to have to come and find
Did you see the guy who was rolling on the rocks?
you. Because Korea's Special Mission Group definitely will. And they'll make it look easy, because they've been specially trained to be able to get into everything, and I'm not even kidding. What?
Why did that guy smash the jar?
Just they expertly break into this bus for a counterterrorism drill. The speed and timing it must take to pull this off makes me glad I'm not the one they're looking for. Getting into buildings isn't a problem for them either, and it doesn't matter which kind it is. Warehouses, skyscrapers, hotels, they can breach it all. This sort of deployment takes years of practice to get perfect, and one wrong move could cost them the whole mission. It's not just about simply rappelling down either. Everybody has a part to play. Whether it's holding the rope, breaking the window, or swinging in, each person has to be on their A game for it to work.
Do you see how quickly that window broke when it came into contact with that object on the stick?
Yeah, these guys are on another level. I mean, look at this guy. It takes a certain kind of fearless individual to be able to do something like this. But speaking of fearlessness, that's exactly what these soldiers need to make it through this military course. It's called the Lancero, and it's a rigorous training regime designed to push Colombian soldiers to their limits. It has grueling obstacle courses, heights training, and ziplining into strong currents, all with the goal of preparing them for any kind of warfare. But if they want to make it through the course in one piece, they have to learn the importance of cooperation. Because if they want to accomplish some of these objectives, they can't do it alone. Yeah, these soldiers aren't messing around. If they're willing to go through this kind of training and conditioning, no thanks. I'll leave the jumping off bridges to the professionals.
I just hope that, these guys make a decent living, because, like, it's just got to be so difficult. The missions they get sent on are, like, really sort of do or die missions, high stakes, high danger. What are the, US Navy SEALs make? What do they make? Like, I guess about 100 grand, something like that. I think that's what our SAS guys get.
And I don't know which professionals designed this training exercise, because it seems dangerous, to put it lightly. These Chinese soldiers are tasked to play the world's most wild version of hot potato by handling a live grenade off to each other until this happens.
This is just, I don't get the logic.
I guess it's some sort of high-intensity training or something. They're lucky that none of them took a grenade to the chest. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm no Captain America. Get back! But it does seem like everyone in South Korea's special forces is. Breaking bricks with their head and running at full speed into concrete is no problem for them. And that's because these elite soldiers...
I need to see that clip again. That guy just went, ugh.
Special Forces is. Breaking bricks with their head and running at full speed into concrete is no problem for them. And that's because these elite soldiers put themselves through extreme conditioning and intense taekwondo training to be able to do it. Using their athleticism, they're able to effortlessly jump in the air and kick boards in half, like something right out of the Matrix. And if that's not enough to convince you that these guys are superheroes, then I don't know what will.
You're just giving yourself brain damage. Like, you're giving yourself CTE.
Skills and weapon training alone gives me a real-life look at what it means to be an action hero. Yeah, remind me not to get on their bad side. And don't mess with the Greek Special Forces either. Even something as simple as a plank can be taken to the extreme for them. I'm having a hard time doing a plank for more than 5 seconds. Meanwhile, this guy's over here doing one with 3 of his buddies standing on his back. But then there's the soldiers from Taiwan's ARP, also called the Frogmen. They have to endure one of the harshest military training courses ever made, the Road to Heaven. In this drill, they have to crawl across sharp rocks in various ways, like crawling only using their hands and knees, or with their hands tied behind their backs. And if that doesn't sound bad enough, if they mess up, they have to start all over again. The instructors even pour salt water over the soldiers' open wounds to make the experience even more painful. I think it's safe to say that this is some of the most brutal training imaginable. But you know what?
I guess, maybe it hardens them up, builds their perseverance, but from a practical standpoint, apart from having, a high pain threshold, what do you gain out of that?
What would be worse? Not liking and subscribing to the channel. Yeah, I'll see myself out. These North Korean soldiers gave a whole new meaning to thick skin. Over years of intense conditioning, they've somehow trained their bodies to be able to withstand heavy amounts of abuse. Their muscles are so strong that even sledgehammers do no harm. I mean, this guy has concrete smashed onto his chest while laying on a bed of nails and still gets up without a scratch. While this soldier takes it a step further by having bricks smashed on his head. Others don't even bother laying down and decide to break the concrete slabs by running head first into them. And it doesn't stop.
Oh man, this
Others
is so
don't even
funny.
bother laying down and decide to break the concrete slabs by running head first into them. And it doesn't stop there. They can even jump over cars and bend metal rods only using their chest. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm convinced no weapon on planet Earth could take these guys
Strong
down.
dudes.
I wouldn't even
Strong
be surprised
dudes.
if their skin was bulletproof.
You're dead.
Oh man,
These guys don't want to go down either. They want to go up. Luckily for them, they found the most genius way to do so. This Vietnamese tactical team are able to expertly scale a 30-foot wall in a slightly unconventional way.
Wow, this is impressive.
And when it comes to combat, surprising your opponent can be vital. So being able to quietly scale a wall with a wooden pole does give you certain tactical advantages. I think it's pretty clear when it comes to this team, if they're looking for someone, they'll do anything to find them. And when it comes to the Navy SEALs,
Yeah, this is Buds,
it's
right?
survival of the fittest. And not everyone's cut out for it. Because in order to make it into this unit, you have to survive a week of constant training and drills, also known as Hell Week. It starts with ruthless early morning exercises that often go on for hours. Most candidates operate only on a few hours of sleep each night, and spend most of their time running, doing physical training and obstacle courses.
That's the thing that would wreck me. Like these days, I only really need like 7.5 hours of sleep. But if I had repeated days of like 3 hours, 4 hours, I would deteriorate fast. So how these guys can power through that for a whole week, fair play.
In an effort to show their commitment to the cause, soldiers are asked to carry logs with their teammates uphill. But if that wasn't enough, they're also forced to carry a raft from the beach all the way to the ocean. Some are even asked to carry their teammates on their backs. So yeah, no wonder only a few people make it through that. The Chinese Special Forces train their soldiers in even worse conditions by making them endure weather as cold as -20 degrees Celsius. As part of their extreme weather training, they have to take snow baths, which involve throwing snow onto their bare skin. And target practice? Yeah, that's done outside too. In fact, everything's done outside, which means every single step they take is in the freezing cold snow. Even a hike is made 10 times worse because at any moment, they could slip on the rocks and fall all the way down. I mean, having to crawl on the ground is hard enough, but imagine having to crawl through the ice and stone snow. It takes a certain kind of willpower to be able to do that. The Royal Marines, on the other hand, have to bear a different kind of element: mud. This endurance test is designed for new recruits to test their mental and physical resilience. And since the whole thing is done in the mud, each movement they make requires everything they've got, but they have no choice but to keep going. In order to complete, they have to crawl, do sit-ups, and push and carry logs, all while having to endure the most excruciating pain their bodies ever felt. And you can't—
Mate, the hot shower after this would feel amazing though. After a really cold day and you get home and you have a nice hot shower, oh man, it's just the best feeling.
fall back or fall behind, because if you do, you and your entire team have to start all over. You have to be willing to do anything to finish, even if it means dragging your teammate to the end. Most of us have a fear of drowning, but imagine you are drowning inside a helicopter.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water.
Well, lucky for us, we don't have to worry about that too much. But for the US Marines, that scenario isn't all that improbable. And this is where the Helo Dunker comes in, a machine that literally simulates an actual helicopter crash.
It's alright,
Yeah, it's just all simulation, but that doesn't take away from the fact that drowning is still a very real possibility during the test. At any moment, one of these guys could make a mistake and lose consciousness underwater. So every second counts. They have to learn how to keep calm, how to control their breath, and more importantly, how to break the window and escape. Luckily, this weatherman training has nothing to do with water, or the weather. These exercises are full of intense and cutthroat drills intended to push recruits farther than ever before.
I'd love to know, when a Special Forces soldier qualifies, they make it through training, how much of their time is spent, continuing to train, hone the skills, as opposed to on missions? Would you say like 50-50, a bit more time on missions? Or does it just depend on the environment, the political environment and stuff like that? Because, there's not going to be missions all the time that require like Navy SEALs or stuff like that. So how much time do they spend actually training versus, on the job?
And it'll get these guys to ask themselves whether or not they actually want to be there. It's full of relentless physical and mental drills like dragging a partner's body, bear crawling, rolling through the sand, and river crossing with a rope. All of this while being yelled at by their sergeant.
Smith, what are you doing just looking around?
And you better know the mission statement by heart, because they're going to ask you to say it out loud, word for word, while doing pull-ups.
Who establish weather data networks while simultaneously...
And if you mess it up, you and your entire team are going to be punished.
...expertly employ...
Nope. Get on the pull-up bar and say the mission statement.
So yeah, it's pretty intense. But you know what's even more intense? Having to cross a frozen lake. And in Norway, the Royal Marines operate in that kind of environment very often.
Today we're taking the guys through their ice-breaking drill. It's an essential drill that they need to go through.
So if at any time someone falls through the ice, they need to know how to get themselves out. An exercise intended to expose the soldiers to the elements by forcing them to escape from frozen water unassisted. And these guys only have a matter of minutes to do so before hypothermia and frostbite run its course. So every second counts. But with the right amount of determination, each soldier can succeed by pushing their gear up to the surface and pulling themselves free.
And I bet, the camaraderie that gets built up between you and the other soldiers going through this experience, you guys would be so tight,
Can I get the feeling, baby? Ooh. Is that to your satisfaction, Sergeant?
But they aren't the only ones under the surface. The Navy SEALs train their soldiers with extreme underwater training.
You need to be prepared to execute some of the world's most dangerous missions in unforgiving environments.
During their first phase of training, they practice swimming, knot tying, and something called drown proofing, which is when candidates have to perform various tasks in the water while their hands and feet are tied.
First, we'll tie their feet. Then we tie their hands. Then we tie both feet and hands.
Then the next stage is this. The instructors literally swim down and attempt to disorient you by pushing you around, taking your mask off, or taking your air away. And it's your job to resolve all the issues before returning to the surface.
If you don't do it in the right order, well, then you're out. You fail.
Okay,
Jeez.
yeah, I've officially decided this is too much for me. I am never joining the Special Forces.
God damn. That was intense. These guys, the mental and physical perseverance required to become a Special Forces soldier, you need to really, really, really want it. If you go in there less than 100% committed, they're going to find you out fast. I have to say, some of the training exercises in this video did have me scratching my head. There was one in particular. I think it was the Chinese Special Forces. When they were running head first into like multiple layers of concrete, it's like, why? I don't know what kind of mission would you need to be able to do that? Like, if you're trying to bulldoze through a door, usually they have those cylindrical metal things that they use to barge through the door. You're not going to need to use your head to break through a door, man. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.